Looking at all things KNT Netball now, and as always, I'm joined by Sally Bywater, who's got all the info in the league that we need. How are you, Sally?
I'm very well. It's good to be back for another week.
Good to have you back, and we're going to start out with Lucindale and Bordertown, and you were at this game on the weekend, is that right?
I was, yes. So we had perfect conditions for a great game, and another great win here by Lucindale, 38-31. Yeah, it was really good to get out there and see these two teams play, and we spoke about Lucindale being at full strength last week, and they played really, really well. Bordertown were up at quarter time, and it was even at half time. Then Lucindale made some changes and came away with that 7-goal win.
Bordertown at just 1-10 on the season. So if you're saying Lucindale played well, but they were only able to win by 7 goals, it must have been a really good game by Bordertown.
It really was. It was really a great defensive game. So Lucindale in the first half, it took a bit of time to get their go happening, but Bordertown really put the pressure on you. And to think they're out 1-10 and bottom of the ladder, they're still putting up good fights every week, which is great to see.
All right, good effort there by Bordertown. Unlucky not to be able to get the win, but Lucindale did what was required of them to keep touch with that top 4. Keith also played on the weekend, and they had a pretty convincing win over Mundalla, 50-37. So they're back on top of the ladder.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We did think Keith would probably have this win here, and they came out firing in the first quarter, and they were 17-9 up at quarter time, so an 8-goal lead in that first quarter was just fantastic for them to see, and they just an even second quarter. So Mundalla really tight and got their defensive goal. It was only 8-all, so quite a low-scoring game quarter for that one. Keith's back again in the third quarter, up by 2 and 3 in the last. So after quarter time, Mundalla were quite good, and they did have both their defenders out, so a bit of a different lineup from Mundalla, but great to see them be competitive after quarter time.
All right, good win there by Keith. And into our next game, it was a good win for Narracourt as well. A convincing win over Kingston, 69-47. And we've talked about Narracourt having quite a strong percentage. Are they flat track bullies? They're beating up on one of the bottom teams here, but we haven't quite seen them bring that same effort to some of the better teams in the comp. So, yeah, do you think they're flat track bullies, or was this just a masterclass performance?
It's really hard to know with Narracourt. We're not quite sure what we're getting from them week to week, and they're just sitting outside the ladder. So to have these wins, they do need to do it against the top 5 teams. So, yeah, it's a good win to have against Kingston, but obviously Kingston aren't in finals contention. But they came out really well in this game as well, and they were 8 goals up at half time and really started their game well and shot consistently with their goal shooter, Lucy Hensky, shooting 43 of those 69 goals to get that 22-goal win. So a great effort by Narracourt. We'd like to see them get the top 5 teams producing the same output.
Yes, very good win by Narracourt, but we'll keep tabs on them over the next few weeks. They will need a couple of good wins against teams higher than them on the ladder if they're going to jump into the equation for finals, and if they're going to then make some noise in finals. 2 teams who we think might just make some noise in finals, though, Kybybolite and Border Districts, and they played off in a cracker on Saturday arvo. It was Kyby prevailing by 1 goal, 49-48, to knock Border Districts off the top.
It did, yes. So Border Districts obviously went from top to third, so it was actually a big loss for them. It's only like 1 goal, but they'd moved down 2 positions, and Kyby's still sitting there comfortably in 4th position, so a great game here. And I know Border Districts were missing their goal shooter, so they had a different lineup with the goal shooter and a goalkeeper missing. So to be a couple of players down and only lose by 1 goal is probably a fantastic effort by Border Districts, but not taking anything away from Kyby. They were quite consistent, but Border's got the last quarter, they were up by 4, so they nearly come back and they probably had an extra couple of minutes, they might have got the win, but a great game here by finals contender team.
And it certainly shakes up the ladder a little bit because Kyby, they're 2 wins behind Border Districts, but they've also got 2 draws on the board. So with that win over Border Districts, it really draws them within 1 game of them. So they're really pushing for that top 3 now, but Border Districts, nevertheless, certainly still in touch with Keith on top and Penola in second. Penola did have the bye over the weekend. They'll be back in action in round 13. We'll get to them in just a minute because they've got a good game on the horizon, but we'll start off with Keith taking on Bordertown, top versus bottom, and this one's a Friday night game.
It is a Friday night game at Keith, so 8 o'clock Friday night, get along to Keith Stadium to watch this game, and obviously it's first playing bottom, but I think it'll be a great game. It'll be indoors, so no weather to contend with. But I think it'll be a fantastic game. I think Keith will get the win. Let's hope Bordertown are competitive, but Keith will be wanting to keep that top spot and cement that in for the top 3 position for the finals.
Bordertown coming off a good performance as we spoke about, so we'll see if we can keep that up. Is there any occasion for the Friday night game, or is it just keeping things fresh?
No, Keith are hosting a ladies' day on Saturday afternoon, so they like to play their senior games on a Friday night, so Bordertown will go and do that with them and then enjoy the festivities of the next day with all the Keith and Bordertown girls together. All
right, very good, and no doubt Bordertown will enjoy the Saturday off. On to our next game. We've got Narracourt taking on Lucendale at Narracourt, and this one is going to be fascinating. We just spoke about Narracourt needing a win against a team above them. Well, Lucendale are ahead of them by just one draw or half a game, so this one will be really fascinating. Whoever wins this is going to be in a good spot to push for finals, and whoever doesn't win will be lacking behind. So how do you see this one playing out?
I think it'll be a fantastic game. When they played in round 4, Lucendale got the win by 1 goal, so I'm predicting another close game like this one. Lucendale have changed their team. They've got a couple of strengthened up with some defenders coming in, so I think they'll be really hard to beat at Narracourt. But again, I really can't split these two teams. I think it's really going to have an impact on the top 5. So I think Lucendale will have the win, but Narracourt really need this win to get in that top 5. So fantastic game, but Lucendale for me.
And ordinarily that would have a really good shot at being match of the round, but we've got 2 more to get through here that are going to really push for that title. We'll start off with Mundulla and Kingston. Obviously not exactly finals contenders, sitting 7th and 8th on the ladder with 3 and 2 wins respectively, but both been playing some better netball lately, and this one should be a really close game.
Again, I think this will be a really good game. It's this game of this season. When they played in round 4, Mundulla got the win by 3 goals down at Kingston, but they had to come from behind to win that game. So there was 3 goals down at 3-quarter time. So they just got over the line in the end. But at Mundulla, I think Mundulla will get the win, but a fantastic game between these two sides, even though it doesn't matter where they're on the ladder. I think it'll be a great game, and probably not quite our game of the round, but one of the 3.
All right, and then this is the one I'm picking as game of the round. Penola taking on Border Districts at Penola. Top spot potentially on the line, depending on what Keith do, although we are probably expecting them to win. But nevertheless, Penola and Border Districts both hotly contending that top spot, and we've seen the top team change over pretty much every week for 4 or 5 weeks now, so definitely every win matters. How do you see this one going? Who do you think will win?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be this is match of the round, I think. So when they met in round 4, Penola didn't quite get the win. Border's got it by 8 goals at home. So I think it'll be closer this time. I think Penola at home will get the win, which will keep them in second spot. And that's the first time this season we don't see the ladder change around in that top 3. But I can't wait to see this one and see what the result will be. I think Border Districts, if they've got their full team, they'll really put it up to them. But I think Penola coming off the break will have a fire in their belly ready to go. So a good win here by Penola.
All right, and Kybybolite are on the bye, but they'll no doubt be watching that one with great interest because one of them has to lose, unless they draw, of course, which wouldn't be a bad result for Kyby either. But either way, Kyby will be looking at jumping one of them on the ladder in the coming weeks. That's all for round 13 action. Looking forward to it this weekend. Definitely going to be some exciting results. Are you getting out to one of the games this weekend, Sally?
I'm not sure if I'll get down. I might get on a Saturday to the Keith Bordertown game, but I probably won't see any senior netball this week. But really looking forward to seeing some juniors play this weekend.
All right, great stuff. Well, you enjoy the juniors if you get there. Have a great weekend either way, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you.